is MASLW National Semifinal number 2. I'm David DeWahey. Alongside me is Chris Hemler. We just had the pleasure of watching an amazing match between Detroit City FC and the Iowa Demon Hawks in semifinal number 1. The Iowa Demon Hawks emerged victorious by a score of 7-5. And no rest for the weary, Chris. We're on to semifinal number 2.
Listen, if this is half as entertaining as the first semifinal, then it'll be a treat for us.
Absolutely. I was just speaking with league admin Brian Cushing, and he was pointing out that every single game this weekend has been like a spectacle. High scoring in some cases, but evenly matched. Great opposition. 8 very worthy teams in this national finals weekend. We've determined our first finalist in the form of the Iowa Demon Hawks, and we're about to find out our second finalist as RPFC Dallas, wearing white, takes on the Cincinnati Sirens in blue.
I just have to make a comment. Cincinnati's kit game is strong this season.
Oh, my God. I was just going to say, we're in sync, Chris, because I was about to say the same thing. They wore a slightly different – they had a variation on the blue theme yesterday,
Yep.
which me and Ian Gilmore were marveling at because it was, like, so sharp.
Yeah.
And yet they seem to have stepped it up another notch with this horizontal – I don't know how you describe it, almost like a tiger stripe.
So I was thinking that, but I think with the name Cincinnati Sirens, it might be more like the waves of a water.
Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. And I like the way both of these teams play. I was going to say Cincinnati, but the truth is I really appreciate the game of both Cincinnati and RPFC Dallas because they play a highly technical game, a lot of movement, a lot of passing, and it's going to be great to see two teams with similar styles match up. I think it's going to be a fantastic battle.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like when we look at the first semifinal, it was very physical, very emotional game, and I think this will be maybe a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more end-to-end.
Yep. And the fact that you don't have a home team, and the way Detroit City FC was the host team, I think that adds a little bit of pressure and emotion to the match. And you've got a defending. I keep making that mistake, but you've got in terms of Iowa, the fact that they had a lot of players come over from Chihuahua Savage, was the defending national champion, and Iowa, on their own merit, was national semifinalist last year. So I think for them,
Ranked
there's
one coming in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pressure on them, and I think when you have those factors merging, you get a little bit of extra emotion in it and a little bit of extra intensity. But here, two teams that have traveled to Detroit for these games, I don't believe they've played each other. So we're going to get maybe a little bit more of like, I don't know, just a different feel to the game, maybe a little less emotional. I'm sure it'll still be very intense, very competitive. But
especially now that you said something.
Yeah, exactly. I think I did a bunch of commentators' curse in the last game. But in the early going here, we haven't had any clear-cut chances for either team. Plenty of possession and certainly plenty of hard work as these teams are fighting to gain a competitive advantage here at the Detroit City Fieldhouse.
So they did not play each other. Just check real quick to see if they had any common opponents.
Hey, can I say something nice about you, Chris?
I would appreciate it for once.
For those of you who are tuning in from home, just to give you a little background, yesterday we had 4 matches here in the MASLW quarterfinals. It was a long day of soccer for everyone here at the Fieldhouse, an enjoyable day of soccer. But the bulk of the broadcast was done by our very own Ian Gilmore, McKenna Mascaro, and myself, and we kind of split the duties and had a lot of fun doing so. Ian, as the DCFC videographer, is currently in Indianapolis with the men's first team as they have a USL Championship game starting 2 minutes ago against Indy 11. And as such, Ian was unavailable for the broadcast today. McKenna Mascaro, who I mentioned moments ago, was coaching in the first game of these semifinals. And so that left a bit of a void. And Chris Hemler, who I'm on the broadcast with right now, is my neighbor, my friend, my former colleague. We were in education together, which we can talk about later. Husband, father, wonderful human being. And I asked him if he would join me today, and he does have extensive broadcast experience, but in the robotics realm.
In the robotics realm, yes.
He
this is pretty similar.
Graciously agreed to join me. And the thing that I wanted to say, this is all leading up to something, because Chris was just giving us a little bit of a statistical breakdown. In preparation for today's broadcast, Chris printed rosters, consulted the interweb for all sorts of statistical information about the teams involved. He did his homework, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and it's showing. And I, for one, appreciate it because I am relatively uninformed in a lot of these statistical matters. And it's nice to have somebody that knows what they're talking about. So
All
thank
right.
you, Chris.
Well, and thank you for giving me time to find something, find a little.
That was the idea.
A little nugget.
That was the idea. And I wanted to compliment you because you deserve it.
So the match yesterday that RPFC played against FC Berlin, they won 7-4. And the Sirens did play FC Berlin twice in the regular season.
Okay.
So they lost by 1 in the first meeting, and then they won. In their second meeting, and they won by 5 in their first meeting. So they split with FC Berlin, and it was a close match.
So it's a case of a mutual opponent.
A mutual opponent.
Yeah,
They
like
never
that.
played each other, but they do have FC Berlin as their mutual opponent. Obviously, RPFC was able to come out on top yesterday.
Yep.
And Cincinnati split with them during the regular season.
Very cool. Nice to have a little bit of grounds for comparison.
It doesn't really help us much
Well,
because
yeah, the fact
it just
that
shows that they're pretty evenly matched.
The parity, I was referring to this yesterday, specific to Detroit City FC's regular season experience this year compared to last year.
Yeah.
Last year they were pretty comfortable. They won all their games. They were never really tested until they got to the national tournament. Whereas this year they were in the same conference as FC Berlin, who we just spoke about. And then they were cross-conference competitor with Louisville FC, who I would put in a very similar category to Cincinnati Sirens.
Yeah.
Very high-level teams. And so for Detroit City FC, they had 4 games, 4 more than last year, that were like extremely close, where they split results with those opponents. And their other games were close. But bottom line, I think having a much more, having so much more parity across their division is a testament to the relative parity in this league. And I think what we've seen in this weekend is not a surprise, because you've got 8 teams that can all go toe-to-toe. It's real evidence of how the quality of teams in this league has grown steadily.
Now, do you have any sense, David, if trying to find higher level opponents for some of the higher level teams, do you have the sense that was kind of a team goal, or do you think that was kind of a league suggestion to even things out a little bit?
Well, I think one thing that the league did that was really helpful in the case of the Great Lakes division, because I think you had, for one thing, they couldn't fail. There were a lot more strong teams, and everybody got a little bit better. But what was cool that the league did with the Great Lakes is they had, I think there were like 8 or 9 teams, and rather than having one giant Great Lakes division, they did a north and a south. You played primarily within your conference, but you had 2 teams on the other side that you did a home and away with, or a home and home with. And so for Detroit City FC, that was Columbus and Louisville. And arguably both of those teams were, more competitive than some of the teams they played consistently last year.
Yeah.
And so I think it was kind of just like a league-wide decision to have a little bit more variety in the opponent.
Yeah.
And geographically it wasn't crazy because everybody was in the Great Lakes region. So yeah, I liked that change. I know the Detroit City FC players and coaches really appreciated it as well.
Yeah, and just a word about Columbus too. Cincinnati played them twice, and did win both times, but relatively close for arena soccer.
Yeah.
A 3-goal deficit and then a 5-goal deficit the second time they played,
But I think, like, in the arena game, that's close.
Yeah, absolutely.
People probably hear that, like, oh, if that were an 11-on-11 score, you'd say, like, yeah, it was pretty one-sided.
Yeah.
But I think in the case of arena soccer, the way that goals come hard and fast, a 3-goal margin, and we just saw in the Detroit City FC game, it ended up 2, but they scored one very late.
And there was a chance to make it 4 towards the end. So.
Exactly. So nobody would say that wasn't a close game.
Match, right?
Well, this game that's being played in front of us, Chris, has been about as even as they come.
Yeah.
I don't recall a moment where we thought either team was going to score. There haven't been any great clear-cut chances, but there have been plenty of intricate passing exchanges, some nice 1v1 dribbling as we see here from Lexi Anderson of RPFC going 1v1 and getting a shot for herself. I think this game's going to open up at some point, but right now we're still in that feel it out phase where each team is not wanting to concede too much, being a little bit more defensive than usual maybe, and as a result we've got a bit of a deadlock on our hands.
Yep. And we'll see if tackles like that, some more kind of hard crunching tackles are going to become more common as the game wears on, but it has been a very technical affair so far.
Yep, well said.
Do you have any players to watch in this game today,
So
David?
I did not, admittedly, I didn't get a great look at RPFC yesterday. It was the one game that was played when I was unavailable, and so I only saw the very beginning. But I did have a chance to cover the game with FC Cincinnati, where they played the ITC Aztecs earlier in the day. And for me, there were 3 real standouts. Number 7, Natalie Aroños. Number 8 yesterday, although it sounds like today she's wearing number 10, Christy Zwolski. And then number 17 yesterday, who's wearing 22 today, Kelsey Keown. I still remember kind of talking about them during the broadcast yesterday. Keown on the ball right now. She seems to be the string puller. Aroños plays in a more defensive position, but she comes forward. Also number 9, actually. See if I can find her on the roster. Laura Rose was another one whose name came up a lot yesterday. But those 4 really impressed me, and I was extremely impressed collectively by the Cincinnati team, but those 4 stood out.
So if we look at RPFC, you've got number 11, who is Alyssa Valdez, and Sofia Munoz, who was wearing 21. Today she's wearing 11. They both have 4 goals so far this playoff. So
nice.
I think those would be the two players to watch, the hot hands right now for RPFC.
We got an interesting thing going on right now. This is like a hockey stalemate.
Yeah.
There's like 6 players.
Or like a rugby scrum.
A rugby scrum, even better, Chris. That was cool. I don't think the ref just kind of let that go.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's being overly physical. They were jockeying for the ball. And
the referee crew on the field here is Conlon Campbell and Aaron Scher, and I know that because they have reffed a lot of the Detroit City FC games this season. As far as referee crews go, I know few people who are as qualified and capable as those 2, and I believe Carrie Martinez is in the box area. She's done a lot of USLW League games for us. Just a fantastic crew, and I believe that's also Carly Castiglione, who's done some USLW games. So this crew of 4, I actually happen to know. The crew that that refereed the last game, I wasn't as familiar with because I think they're from outside the area. But they did I think the referees all weekend have been fantastic. And this crew of 4 that we've got on this match, I can personally vouch for. They're just awesome, really good people as well, and they love the game, and they take their jobs very seriously, but they can also laugh at themselves, and they know that it's a job where they're going to make mistakes, and they own them, and it's refreshing to be around refs that approach the game that way.
Yeah, and that's good to have too. I mean, I think there were some complaints on both sides about the officiating last match, and whether that's warranted or not is up to the individual person. But to have a crew that you can put your faith into has got to be helpful coming into a match like this.
For sure. And I will say, I think as that game wore on earlier, like we talked less and less about the calls or the lack of calls, and it was just a classic case of such an intense emotional game being really difficult to manage, and I totally understand. We got a little tussle there at midfield with Aroños and number 6 from RPFC Dallas, Josie Sorto. We'll do our best with names here. We apologize to anyone tuning in. And likely if you're tuning in, it's because you're a fan of one of these 2 teams or maybe both. And we want you to know that if we mispronounce anything, it's only because we just didn't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, and you can throw it in the comments too.
Corrections.
We probably won't see it, but
we might not because we'll
see it after the game, and we'll know how bad
we messed up, and we'll happily own that.
Cincinnati's kind of trying to build something here from the back, trying to work it around and look for an opportunity.
Yeah, one thing that really impressed me about them yesterday was just their overall passing game. And they also had a defensive intensity that stood out to me. They were very wow, that might be a card, Chris, because I think number 9 for the Sirens there, Laura Rose. She had kind of won the spot.
Yeah.
And then the RPFC player sort of just knocked her off balance enough that she went into the boards. And from what I understand, there are a few criteria for a blue card, and one of them is a boarding foul, where the result of the foul is that the player kind of heads into the boards, which is obviously particularly dangerous. And so there's a particularly harsh consequence, and that is a 2-minute penalty, which will now serve Cincinnati with a power play situation.
It looks like we're going to have a timeout here.
Chris, do you want to give a shout-out to anyone? You don't have to.
I mean, I'd like to give a shout-out to your wonderful family. I don't know if they're tuning in, but your son Evan and your spouse Megan came out to see my kids perform yesterday in public theater. And
for those for whom that doesn't make a lot of sense, Chris and I are neighbors.
Next door neighbors.
Our families are very close, and Chris's son Elliot and his daughter Phoebe performed in The Wizard of Oz last night in a community production that was very well received, from what I've heard. I was here at the Fieldhouse watching our DCFC women take on Louisville while that was going on, but both my wife and son came home and said that it was a great production. So congrats to your kiddos.
Yeah, well, and I just appreciate the support your family always gives.
Of course.
I hope that everyone at home is lucky enough to have a neighbor half as thoughtful as my neighbors.
Cut it out. Thanks, Chris.
No problem.
And vice versa. Likewise, I'm sure.
Looks like we're going to return to action momentarily. The timeout is over, and it'll be interesting to see. This is an interesting spot, David. If you're taking this free kick from here off on the side, knowing that you've got an advantage, do you try to cross it to the person at the back post right away, or do you try to build something?
Do you prioritize possession? We're going to see. They've kept it, but they've played that. The one thing that I really appreciated about Iowa when they were on the power play, when we saw them last game, and we're seeing Cincinnati do it here, they rotated players. They had a lot of movement off the ball, but ultimately the goal was to get it into that player that was in the deep corner position, because from there you're kind of like a particular threat when you can square that ball for a tap-in. So right there where Keon's receiving it, maybe a little closer to goal. I think they're shifting and probing right now, but right there as well. That's the spot where I think if you get it to that player, it forces the other team enough.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're going to have another foul here. I think it forces the other team to commit, but it leaves space in the middle for that central pass that's so, potentially deadly. Wow, that's
nice
a great save. I think this is the first time in the game where we're really seeing like a sustained flurry of shots. It's been such a midfield battle so far. Ooh, good save by the goalie. Well handled there by number 1 Courtney Burnett for RPFC Dallas.
And Lexi Anderson did get a foot on that too, which could have made things tricky. But I think in this instance, it slowed things down enough to make that more manageable.
For sure. Aranya's on the ball here. Yesterday, she really showed herself to be a very dynamic player. Good on both sides of the ball, athletic, intelligent. I was just super impressed with her and her play yesterday, and I think she got a goal toward the end to kind of seal the deal as they were taking on a very strong Aztecs team, and here she is getting on the ball again. She just struck me as being a very, very dangerous player. Cincinnati.
And I caught a bit of the game as well, and I was just
wow.
I think overall this Cincinnati team just showed that they just don't have quit.
No, they really.
I think
wow, what a brave save from Courtney Burnett, putting her body on the line. Oh, that's wow. Chris!
I mean, this is incredible. The
what
defending from RPFC is.
RPFC are definitely digging in right now in the shorthanded situation. And credit to Cincinnati for and the power play's over. Credit to Cincinnati for creating so many chances. In the last 2 minutes, I think we said wow, or I might have said most of them, but collectively we said a lot of wows.
Yeah. And if you're a goalkeeper, you have to really appreciate the willingness of your defenders to just put their bodies on the line.
Yeah, and I think Courtney Burnett rewarded those defenders by putting her own body on the line in that last sequence. Ooh. Okay, Conlon Campbell's in a great position to make that decision.
Yep.
Conlon Campbell, fun fact, when the University Liggett School boys team, and University Liggett School is where Chris is currently working and teaching and influencing the next generation, and it's where I used to work as a high school teacher as well. The boys soccer team made it to the state finals in 2019. They also made it this fall. But anyway, when that game was played at Novi High School, Conlon Campbell, today's referee, was at the center.
Oh,
and
really?
It's hard to referee those games. They're,
yes.
It's a final, and we'll see tomorrow at 2 o'clock that it's going to be extra intense and extra emotional. And I just thought he did a particularly great job of, basically managing a game and not being noticeable. He was just like the perfect referee. He just made tough decisions when he needed to, stood behind them, communicated well. And he saw kind of evidence of that earlier when he decided not to call that foul, but he was in a great position to do so. So we're in between periods here, Chris.
Yep.
I think we're gonna take a quick break. We'll come back to all of you guys when the second period starts. Similar. Second period's about FC and Cincinnati, and I'm going to hand over the mic briefly while my broadcast partner Chris Hemler stays in the driver's seat as well. But we have a special opportunity here to bring you a guest broadcaster. His name is Brad Namdar. He is the GM, part owner with his wife of the Texas Lone Star Soccer Club from Dallas, Texas area. They were worthy participants in this year's National Finals weekend. They had the unfortunate pleasure of drawing the number 1 seed Iowa Demon Hawks in their opening game. Came up a bit short, but I was on that broadcast, and they represented themselves extremely well. They're well coached, they're well managed, and they got a fantastic collection of players. Brad has particular insight playing in that part of the country where RPFC is playing as well. He knows the coaches of the teams involved, and he's graciously offered to hop on the broadcast. So I'm going to switch roles with him for a while. And Brad, we thank you in advance for being a part of this broadcast.
Well, thank you so much for the introduction. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. And thank you guys for doing a great job covering it. Like you said, we had the privilege, I'll say, not the unfortunate pleasure, but the privilege to play against the number 1 seed, Iowa. So it was a great game. At the end of the day, new year, new franchise, first time, made the playoffs. It's great. And now we get to see RP, taking them on.
You guys are representing the Lone Star State very well.
That's right.
So I'm going to ask you the same question
Sure.
I asked David, which is, who are the players to look out for from RPFC today?
So RP's got, they have a great depth on their team. You have Fernanda, you have Tara Tufts, you have Kenny Kessler. These are names a lot of us, everyone knows. But also, their depth is good.
Yeah.
They've played together in a lot of competitions for many years. As you know, North Texas and Dallas is very rich in the soccer culture.
Yeah.
So tournaments and things like that. So I'm not going to say 1 name, 2 name, 3 name, 4 or 5, but I'm going to say their entire squad is good. They're good players. So, keep it on everybody because somebody, hey, you never know on any day become a well-known name overnight.
So then a balance then between talent and chemistry is kind of the special sauce for them then.
100%. I think so. And at the end of the day, I've had the privilege of being the GM and the sporting director of the Texas Outlaws when we were over there under in the MASLW division. And David Ortiz, he's one of the coaches on the coaching staff. He actually played for me when I was over there.
Oh, wow.
Well. Yeah. He played for me. Our head coach back then was the famous Tattoo. And we also had Nick Stavro, Sagu as our goalkeeper coach. So, we have a great history between the two programs. But, when you're playing, it's anyone's game. You want to win. And that's a good ball back there.
Yeah.
RP does a great job of resetting. Coach Craig, he's with the U.S. mini football team as well.
Yep.
He's got a good balance, and it looks like a defending power play. Good headed by Kessler.
And there you go.
That's a goal right there. 28 kid Kessler.
And that's kind of what you were getting at. That's a team goal, right?
Right there.
And it stems from the penalty to Toria Abbott from Cincinnati, but work the ball around the field, put it to a player at the back post,
Patience.
and finish your chances.
And that's a header. That's not an easy goal.
No, and you're looking at a net that is much smaller than your 11v11 outdoor.
Yep. I'm 5'5" and I can reach the bar easily. So that was a very good ball. But you said it's a team goal.
Yeah, they worked it around,
thing.
and then they saw that final pass, made it, and I think the tough part is finishing your chance. And
it's 1-0 right now. Okay, and in indoor soccer, that's nothing.
Nothing.
You have to keep it going.
Nothing. We were just talking about this, that like even a 5-goal differential, on a score line at the end of the game, doesn't necessarily mean what you might think it would mean if you're not used to arena soccer.
100%, and right there, who just dispossessed the ball, number 7 Nano, great talent too as well. She's also with the U.S. mini football team. We had the privilege of being her, and she was a teammate with some of our girls that played for the U.S. team last October. And the USA versus Mexico match where USA won. So she's one to watch over there on the other side with Coach Craig.
Yeah.
Bree right here, she's got the ball on the outside.
I was going to say that speed
off
there.
The wall and the rebound, let's see it.
So they were this was a big part of their warm-up was playing the passes off the wall.
Yes.
And so, that's I was waiting to see, when that would come into play, because I could tell from the warm-up that was going to be a part of their approach.
And something fans don't know at home is that when you come to a field, you have different shapes, Olympic-sized hockey rings, some are smaller, some bigger, but these angles on the wall, they bounce differently. And RP does a great job of using the wall. So let's see right here, across, if she's going to hit it off the wall sideways on the curvature, which angle helps the most for a rebound. But that's a good shape right now defensively. And RP does a good job of resetting real well.
Yeah, and right now, the game, they're in the driver's seat right now. It doesn't mean that things can't change.
Not at all.
At the blink of an eye.
Cincinnati looks fit. They're not giving up at all.
Yeah, and they're tenacious. If that's if there's one thing we saw about them yesterday, it was 100%. Their tenacity.
Well coached, well organized.
Yep.
1-0 is nothing. It's 0-0, folks. And there's Nano got hit right there. Get back up. She's ready to go. Taylor Tuff's also right there over the ball.
Yeah.
With RP, she's a good goal scorer.
Yeah, she was. I was watching her during the warm-ups off the wall drill, and she was crushing it, both feeding it off the wall and then also finishing.
Looks like we have a timeout right now.
Yes, we do.
And also to Detroit City. What a fantastic environment here. It's really cool.
Yeah, we like to have fun. We like to balance our passion for our team and our passion for a fun, good time, and so we're so happy that the league let us host and welcome everyone here. And
we're so happy from Dallas to come here. It's not like gas prices are high or anything like that. At the end of the day, so Detroit City, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
But I will say this for the fans at home: you guys don't get to see the pageantry as much as you want to. The light shows. I mean, the fans are in the stands, passionate. You've also got a bar upstairs. Everyone's enjoying themselves watching it. So it's great to see not just the soccer, but when you come to an event like this, and I encourage all fans to do that with indoor soccer.
Yeah.
it's more than just the game. There's
Yes.
the outside, which I think you guys have done a fantastic job of.
Yeah, and you know, I like that. You know, you see, you know, your usual soccer fans that you would see at some of our outdoor games. You know, we've got our Northern Guard supporters.
Yes.
But then you also have, you know,
They cross over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, just to see, you know, we can see it now. There are a couple little kids in the stands having
It's
fun.
a great
and
model. It's a
yeah,
great model for other
absolutely.
teams to follow. You know, it's like I said, we're a 6-7 month year franchise, but we took a lot of pride in focusing on our indoor side, and now we'll have an outdoor team coming up in WPSL. So we're trying to grow just like you guys are within all aspects.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Good
and
ball
I think,
down line.
I mean, what a great first season for you all to have.
Right.
To make it this far and to show the way that you did yesterday, I think is remarkable, and hopefully your team is able to take pride in what they were able to do.
The girls are thrilled. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the United States right now. We have a team from USA. We have teams from Mexico. We have teams from Canada. That's 3 countries. This is a competitive league, the #1 most competitive indoor soccer league in the world. So only 8 teams qualified. We're very proud of it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, there's only one place to go but up, you know. And so we're going to be proud to do that. It's like a little foul right there.
Yeah, I was surprised too because some of the boardings today have been called as blue cards. And
Yes.
So I was kind of surprised not to see one there.
These boards are real walls. They
Yes.
are walls. It hurts.
Yes.
So, but it's important to make sure you protect the players at the end of the day. They've been doing a good job. Kenny Kessler lays it off. She had the goal right there a second ago. She's just going to go off the wall. Nope. You can tell RP's real patient.
Yeah, I was just going to say the patience there is remarkable because you might think like that there's that urge, right, to just go to goal.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of restraint.
It's a lot of training and patience because you see the goal, you want to go to it, or you take that shot, but you got to be mature on it.
Yep.
Looks like a spot foul.
Yep. And so we'll see. I'm always interested to see if we. You know, if you go for goal or you lay it off.
It's going to let's see. It's Taylor Tufts. Let's see the overlap. Taylor Tufts made the shot. Kenny's got it. Great shape so far by Cincinnati defensively on that.
Yeah, I mean, with so much movement, it's tough. It's tough to defend and it's tough to.
The high goalkeeper's an extra player.
Yes, absolutely, and you know, obviously. Both of our clubs know that all too well.
Right. And that's a tactical clearance, as you see by Kenny. Just to get them reshaped, get the subs off the field, give them some time. But that's where you're vulnerable because you got 2 strikers up there by themselves.
Yep. Well, and especially, too, like thinking about, you know, how strictly they're enforcing that 3-foot rule on the subs. Like, you take your opportunities when you can.
And we learned that yesterday during the game. Because we were the first match, right? And the referees, they were cool to let us know, hey, guys, 3 feet, you know. They gave us a couple heads up about it, but we got it after a while. And the goal right there by Cincinnati, the left foot.
Yeah, and that was, I believe that was Kelsey Kuhn, who's wearing 22 today. She was wearing 17 yesterday.
What a strike.
Yeah, it's you know, no fault to the keeper there. That's a tough one to save.
And for the fans at home, guys, the goals are smaller. That means these shots have to be much more accurate, placed very well, very well.
The goals are also rare here in that, you know, the backs of the goals are a little bit more difficult.
Right.
So sometimes you're watching at home.
You may not think it goes.
Yeah, because it bounces out and you think it must have hit the post or the board or something like that. And
that's Nano right there. One of the U.S. players right there cleared it out. So it looks like we're gonna have a top of the key kick.
Yeah.
And RP's been really good all year about this on their set pieces. They have some bags, they have some tricks. So I'm sure Coach Craig and everyone else has watched some of them at home and then came up with a couple new plays for playoffs. Got 2 players wide on each side.
Yep.
3-man wall. Great save by the keeper right there.
That is excellent. Coming off the line.
That requires
no fear.
Such focus.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Both you and me, we got faked out by that, overlap right there.
Yeah.
We both. It's another one right now. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati's going to have to – they'll have to fix this a little bit. Because you're not going to keep giving away those kicks.
Well, what a save.
Wow.
On her feet again. What
Just
a save
fearless.
by the keeper.
Fearless goaltending by Taylor Spiller.
And that will help momentum of the team. When your keeper makes a good save, it could change the game. Now, look, you got a high player up wide.
Yep.
She's looking. Keep it. What a ball. Great ball by Nana.
That is excellent.
Now you can tell both teams know it's 1-1.
Yep.
Pass to the keeper. Staying composed. And see right there, that's what RP does real well. They'll regain possession, then they'll restart. But if Cincinnati's pressing right now, as you can tell, they want to make that mistake with that second ball.
Yeah, and I think too, like, that wasn't necessarily the case earlier in the match, and I think they recognize that is a strength of RP, and they have to.
And you're 1-1.
They have to disrupt that.
Now
a
your
little
confidence
bit.
goes up. 1-1 says, we'll go toe to toe.
Yep.
All right. Looks bad for stitch. Well done by Nano. Intercept that. Plays it wide. They want to build it up.
Yeah, and again, I think they've changed their approach a little bit, because I think earlier in the game we'd have seen Cincinnati try to press first.
What a good wide ball right there. Let's see if she's going to go off the wall. Plays wide. Good job by RP. She's going to restart it. And Nano's got it. She's going to organize it. Let her subs get off the line.
Yep. And she saw the run.
What a good look.
She saw the run.
Well defended. RP's got left them open in the middle.
That's Q, the goal scorer. They're running it through her in the middle.
And you see that high striker right there in front of the goal. Oh, man.
That was a smart touch, just not quite enough on it.
It could sneak in. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay. And right now, RP's getting all their subs off.
You love to see the sportsmanship, too, of helping each other up.
Absolutely. Nana's got the ball wide. Goes across. A goal.
And that time the flick did work.
Is that 22?
I don't
think so. Guys, we're further away than it looks.
Yeah, let's see if we can catch the number. 16, maybe? If it is 16, that's Toria Abbott.
What a ball, though. First time touch in the back of the wall.
Yeah.
In the back of the wall.
Yeah.
And now, hey, that's why you got yourself a game. 1-0, RP was in the lead. Now it's 2-1, Cincinnati.
Yep. Yeah, it can change just like that in an instant.
And also the referees. Credit goes to the referees. They've done a good job on all the matches so far. They managed it well, too, as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though some of them pick one line to do the free kick and then the other line on the other one. But I'm not going to complain about it. Not like, consistency is important.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'm not sour, as you can tell.
All right, so what are the coaches saying right now? What are they letting them know?
If I'm Coach Craig, and I know Coach Craig pretty well, he's probably telling them, hey, manage the game. Restarts are fine. Go to goal when it's there. And manage RP, because RP's dynamic. They're going to move off the ball. They want to reset the ball. They're not going to go at 90 miles an hour at you. That's not what they do. They will pick you apart. David Ortiz, and I can see Courtney, the goalkeeper, she's getting involved. She's talking. She's probably organizing her midfield and defense, because both times they encountered, it was wide open.
Yeah.
So she's most likely telling them, and I'm the coaching staff as well, I'm saying, hey, do not make it easy for them. Keep the ball. Do what we do best, which is possession, find the gaps and score. Nothing changes.
We've been talking a lot, too, about what some people might not realize about arena soccer, and just how minor the changes from one opponent to the next need to be in order for you to make adjustments.
Massive.
And I think you have to make adjustments constantly. And so what you came in with a game plan, like, I think that's probably what they're talking about is, clearly those two goals, as you said, they were wide open.
I'm so glad you said that, because, see, people will have like a formation. You can do a 2-2-1, 2-2, whatever. Yeah. But you may have someone that you have to, subsidize some talent for to control or maintain. So you have to. Even right now, new line. You have shifts of lines, just like hockey.
Yep.
So, okay, what is Steele right with 23 going right at the goal for Cincinnati. 1-1 with Michaela. Left foot shot, good block.
What a block. What a block.
And, hit the net. But well done on the block right there. But you see how quick that counter was.
Yeah.
One mistake, and you're going to goal.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you have to strike that balance between, you want your defenders to press up and get involved, but you also need to make sure that you've got that security blanket.
High risk, high reward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 3's over the ball.
That would be Gabby.
Played it wide to Nano, number 7. Good tackle by RP.
And we've seen that, throughout all of these playoffs. It's just that willingness to just sacrifice yourself and lay out.
Oh man, the turf burn all these girls have, y'all didn't even know.
I can't imagine.
Nana forced it, but hey, ball's there. Play on.
Nobody was there. Yeah, I think she thought the player was continuing her run.
It's a good ball. Kessler's trying to chase it down right there. Play back to keeper.
Yep.
Oh, right there. Oof. Almost a misstep by the goalkeeper, but she goes able to
Taylor
recover.
Spiller had a good recovery there.
Yeah, great recovery. Nano's got out of bounds. It's okay. And here's the other thing I want to say for the fans at home. The pass back to the goalie rule.
Yes.
Okay, that has changed this year from previous years. You want to tell them about it?
No, you go ahead.
So
I'll mess it up.
basically, when you're past your half, goalie has unlimited touches. But if you pass it back to your keeper, you only can do that one time per possession. Free kick goes wide to Kessler. Kessler, good block by Nano. Goes back to Fernanda. She's looking wide.
Now, if there's a violation of that, what's the call? The spot kick. Okay. Depending on what spot the referees want to put it on.
Yeah, it's depending. But it's a new rule, and it's good. It helps stop wasting time.
Sure.
So fans are watching. They're like, well, why don't you play the goalkeeper back every time and then push up? Well, you can only do that when you have possession of it once on your half.
Yeah.
That's the rule. Unless your goalie's past half field as a sixth attacker and an attacking player, oh, great job at number 4 getting possession.
And I think another thing, too, to remember is that, part of the allure of watching arena soccer, of watching indoor soccer, is the high intensity. You don't want to see that constantly passing
even
back.
Even possession-based soccer is high intensity.
Yeah.
And the goalies, that, like you said, Iowa, they're very talented at it. She goes past half field. So she essentially becomes, another striker. But if you intercept it, you can shoot it and get a goal.
Yeah, and I think 2 of the 5 goals from DCFC in our first semifinal were
And, folks, you got to be accurate. You can't just kick it.
Exactly. Yeah, it is so much easier said than done to even try to hit the goal from far away.
So it looks like Kelsey's over the ball. Plays it right there, number 3.
Yep. She was the first goal scorer for.
That's right. Gabby was
Cincinnati
with the ball now. And they're being patient. Right now they're spreading them side to side, finding an opening. Good interception by RP. And every time you see a team going side to side, what they're doing is they're trying to spread open the other team and find a middle player through the goal. Top of the key with Gabby Broth on it. Goes wide to Nano. Left foot unlucky. And if you guys see them at home, they kind of jab step. They do it to see if the line's going to move, if they're going to pressure wide. You got to be real focused.
Yeah, because I think if you're going up against a 2-person wall, I think the shot is almost always on. Once you add that third person, then it's a little bit more tricky. So
and
if you can get one of them to
players
move,
got to be able to close down.
Yep,
if they
exactly,
play wide.
exactly.
All right, Nano plays it wide.
And I think that's the other thing too about arena soccer. So if you're playing outdoor 11v11, you've got 10 other players on the field.
Yes.
You have the spotlight is on you far more often.
Oh, absolutely.
In arena soccer
it's
too.
Great you said that because you got 6 players on the field, including the goalkeeper. So you're going to get the ball. The spotlight's on you, so you have to be confident. You have to be getting your set. Nano's teasing. You can see the RP play right there.
She wants it back too.
And they're trying to stretch him out. And interception by Tuff. Tuff goes for a long shot, and it's going wide. See, we just talked about that right there.
Yeah, that's the risk you run if you play that far up.
Good job. Gabby's going up. See, we got 2 high wide, 2 in the middle wide.
Yep.
Goes wide. She's looking. Nano's got it again.
But now you're seeing one of those wide players kind of coming into the middle here to receive it.
To be the target. Yeah, exactly. And RP looks like they have a triangle or a diamond right now, defensive shape.
But this is why you want your keeper to play high because you can put it back into play.
Put it right back in there, yep. Oh, good turn. Unlucky. Oh, foul. Good turn. She got chipped. It's a foul. This is dangerous right here because of that diamond defense right there. Numbers up. Shot.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, wow. Off the wall again. Cincinnati's trying to get another one in.
Yeah, and I think, too, like the rebounds is maybe another thing you don't quite realize if you're not used to indoor
100%.
soccer because that ball just keeps bouncing around.
It's fast too.
Yeah, and that's one way that you disrupt the defensive shape too.
It does, and sometimes your own defender hits it, in a more advantageous position for your, the opposing team. So you really got to be on your toes and head on the swivel. Restarted by right there, Cincinnati. And you can hear David yelling, press, press, press to RP to press the girls. It's a great job.
A nice battle down there in the corner.
Yeah, by Laura Rose right there for Cincinnati. Strong. Cincinnati, as you can tell, they're being a little more patient now.
Yep.
They've got the lead. Like as a coach was like, we got the lead. Don't force it.
They've got Wilder back here playing back, but then you have
great player.
People moving around.
And now they play it up.
Yep, and they're going to look.
Good job by Taylor Tufts. And that's the second ball you got to be careful of, an indoor. Oh, good ball by Courtney going wide. First time by the keeper.
Here we go. Here's a break here.
Shot on goal. Saved by the keeper. The rebound saved again. Great job by the keeper.
And that's why you just can't give up either when you're backtracking, because rebounds are so crucial.
100%. And these goalies are tough in this league, I'm telling you. Great job. Also, the rebound, she got sprawled, stayed wide and made the save.
Yep.
And her defense helped her out. I'm sure RP is going to want that chance back. Okay, there's a press right now.
So 90 seconds left in the half, and
it's a 2-1 game at the moment.
Yeah. So this is exactly what you want out of a semifinal.
This is a low-scoring game so far.
It is a low-scoring game
because both teams also are playing well. They're organized, but they're also being cautious.
Yep. Now, is your sense that we might see that open up a bit in the second half as teams start to take a little bit more risks?
I think your third quarter, you're going to see them open up more. Fourth, it's going to be, light them up. Let's see what we got. Someone has to get, multiple goal lead. No one's going to be comfortable with 1 goal, 2 goal lead. But then it's high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
And who's more prepared for that? Looking across the field, I know she's going wide over there. Great touch.
It's excellent. She was ready for it.
Yeah. By Cortez. Cortez tries to dance with it a little bit. 42 seconds left. Get the inside shoulder. Keeper's marking up there. Foul. Blue card. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kuhn really kind of manufactured that. She
put her in a tough spot.
She sensed that the contact was coming, and shifted her body in a way that it was going to result in a blue card.
And right now, look, and it's tough. By the way, folks, when we say blue card, that means the other team is playing with the player down.
Yeah.
They have 4 players field players on there. So right now, you got 35 seconds left. 4 players for RP on defense on the field versus 5 field players plus their keeper.
Yep,
so
and
if
there's no goal, they'll start the next half with it as well.
It's 2 minutes. Ball across, wide off the wall.
What a ball.
Wow. But you got to maintain possession on those power plays. Don't give it to them to play long. They restart it, 15 seconds left on the clock. She's going to go off the wall.
That's one thing that Iowa did extremely well is their penalty kill.
Yeah, clock management's phenomenal.
Yep.
4 seconds left. And ball goes
they're yelling from the bench to get a shot off.
Right here, the shot. Ooh, just over.
That's great. Well, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. No, we appreciate it.
And we've got a good one so far. So hopefully folks tune in for the second half. And best of luck to you all.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations on your first season, and best of luck to the expansion.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. Thank you.
Take care.
And we are back, and it's going to be different voices for you guys at home. Be warned. This is David DeWahey back on the broadcast. Many thanks to Brad Namdar for stepping in, giving us a wonderful and welcome guest appearance, especially with his extensive knowledge of the Dallas soccer landscape, and so he gives particular insights into the RPFC Dallas team. But Chris Hemler, my dutiful assistant, is going to step out and make way for the one, the only coach extraordinaire of the Detroit City FC women's team, who just bowed out in the national semifinal, but had an amazing season, conference champions and worthy semifinalists, McKenna Mascaro. McKenna, welcome to the broadcast.
Wow, thanks, David. That's an extreme introduction, so thank you. I do appreciate that.
I like to go big on the intros.
I mean, yeah, why not? Introduce everybody. But hello, definitely a nail-biter game here. I mean, here at halftime, we're going in for 2-1. It's been super exciting so far, so definitely looking forward to the second half.
Not unlike the first semifinal today, we got a real nail-biter. Two teams going at it, trading blows, lead changes. We've seen it all. Great follow-up to the Detroit City FC Iowa game in the sense that it's anyone's match here as the second half begins. Cincinnati heading our way in blue, RPFC in white. And McKenna, fresh off an extremely emotional game, but also an extraordinary season. It must be bittersweet right now as you think back on all that was in 2026, but also the freshest memory of the game today that didn't quite go your way.
Yeah, I mean, the season so far, like it's been awesome. The season as a whole, it was fantastic. We got to see really great things come out of our girls, and that's just fantastic to see. I mean, yes, like you said, bittersweet, commentating on a game that doesn't really particularly pertain to us. However, exciting nonetheless. You know, it's just really good to see teams like excelling in and making sure that these games are as close as they are. Like, it's fantastic to see this tournament turn into what it has been.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you know, we won't see either of these teams in the next day, but it's just fun soccer to watch through and through.
Absolutely. And if I could reiterate something that I shared kind of toward the end of the Detroit City Iowa game earlier today. The crowd, both in person and tuning in on our broadcast here, they've been treated to some amazing soccer all weekend long. I can think of no better examples than the quarterfinal match yesterday between Detroit City FC and Louisville, which, you know, in light of this disappointing day today, you got to think back what a magical moment that was and what a great night it was for the Detroit City FC women, that huge, exciting, electrifying win. But I'm losing my point. The point I was trying to make was that the level of play is so high, the quality, the intensity, the athleticism that we're seeing from these women on the field. And I just want to take this opportunity to highlight the women's game and highlight all the women we have at this level. We have an all-female coaching staff for Detroit City FC. You are a big part of that with Danny Evans and Becky Ansell, and just anybody that's a fan of the women's game, and hopefully a lot of young girls tuning in from home and here in person are seeing just how high a level it can be, and hopefully you guys are inspiring that next generation.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, it's so exciting to see the women's game growing. And like you said, yes, here at Detroit City FC, we have a full female crew. We have a female head coach and then both assistant coaches, myself and Becky Ansell. It's also super exciting to see here with the tournament that the championship game will be officiated by an all-female referee crew, which is something. Wow.
We've got a goal from Aroñez there. So we'll pick that point up in a second, McKenna, but she's been lethal both days of this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Great finish. Way to find the back corner. She has been a name and a number that we have said time and time again here throughout this tournament, so she's done fantastic. But that's just an ultimate great finish. Way to find the back post.
And I think that's with her not weaker, that's the wrong way to say it, her non-dominant left foot across her body, finding the far post. She's probably more two-footed than most players, frankly. She's really talented, but that is Natalie Aroñez putting the 2-goal lead up on the board for Cincinnati when they could really pull away here. Although, from what I understand from Brad Namdar, who is pinch hitting in the first quarter, RPFC is very much a second-half team. They're going to likely try and finish this game stronger than they started it. But McKenna, that goal kind of cut off something you were saying about the all-female crew that's going to be presiding over the final tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's very good to see women being involved in women's sports, especially with the officiating crew. You know, you don't normally see women referees reffing women's matches, and I'm glad that it's kind of coming into more of a normal situation and letting them be a part of women's games, which is super exciting to see.
Yeah, it's how it should be. As the somebody who's been involved on the coaching staff for the USLW team for Detroit City FC, I'd say the vast majority of our W League games are either entirely female crews or at least like a good representation of female crews, and I've always been so impressed with the level of refereeing, the professionalism. We are super lucky to have, all the referees that we have, but it's really nice, especially for the female game, to have that kind of representation in the officials, and that will be the case tomorrow. We'll have all four of the match day staff will be female, and a great way to commemorate women's sports and women's soccer here at the Fieldhouse. And just to finish that thought, talking with Brad Namdar, wanted to give a shout-out, a well-deserved shout-out to his wife, Pia, who I believe is the only female owner in the MASLW, certainly the only female owner of a team that made the playoffs this weekend. So, Pia, if you're tuning in, congratulations. This is quite an achievement for a first-year club, and nice to see some representation at the ownership level for one of these top 8 teams this weekend.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, especially coming from somebody who is a part of, I think, one of the only female coaching staff maybe in the league, but especially in this tournament. I mean, that's fantastic to be a female owner, right? Like, I'm sure that it doesn't come easy. So kudos to you, and that's awesome. Your team is definitely here representing themselves very fantastically.
Yep. Congrats to them. They we were saying earlier they had the bad fortune of drawing Iowa in the first game, which was always going to be a tough hill to climb. I thought that Lone Star team handled themselves extremely well. They kept it a really close match, and they lost with a lot of class and dignity.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that was a super fun game to watch. Scoring first, coming right out of the gates.
Took the lead.
That's fantastic, and it can only really go up from here. It's a lot of a learning curve and a learning lesson, but learning nonetheless is better than just staying stagnant.
Oh, yeah.
So that's super exciting.
No doubt. And I think, no better example of that than the progress that the Detroit City FC women have made this year. Look at the game against Chihuahua Savage in last year's national final, a game they'd probably just as soon forget. It was pretty one-sided and not in their favor, but then today playing a really similar squad in the form of the Iowa Demon Hawks, and just a narrow 2-goal loss, but you guys were in it the entire game until the bitter end. And so, if we're putting a premium on improvement and growth, I think you guys are the finest example I can think of that, and it's a testament to all the players, of course, but you coaches as well for preparing the women so well and making some personnel additions that really took the team to a whole nother level. We talked about the addition of Aaron Torrance, first-team All-League selection, and Kira Carfanta and Kenzie Ruber, Megan Varant. I mean, the list goes on for new names, new faces.
Absolutely.
But what a team, what a product you guys put on the field this year.
Yeah, it's been a very fun group. They've done fantastic things. They've really shown what the level of MASLW can be, which is super exciting and fantastic to see.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more. Sorry, I was distracted for a second. This broadcast thing, McKenna, is a lot of fun, but if you switch off for just a second, you can really miss a lot.
I had one of those instances a couple games ago. Ian had asked me a question, and Ian is normally our broadcaster, and he had asked me a question, and I was reading a piece of paper of something that I needed to say, and apparently my feedback from people was that I was silent for a good majority of it. And
yeah, it's better not to answer if you don't know what you're supposed to answer.
Exactly.
Plead the fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find myself in that situation a lot. Although I will say, sharing the booth with you here and with the amazing Chris Hemler earlier, and I'm sure he'll return for a portion of this match, it's hard to be distracted because you guys are so dynamic and, what's the word I'm looking for, engaging, that I can't help but pay attention. But in that case, I got distracted by something else going on off the field. So my bad. I'm going to be better.
Totally okay. I mean, so far, coming out the second half, I mean, Cincinnati has just been attacking it in their final third so far. So I'm interested to see if either Cincinnati can capitalize on their attack or if they can RPFC can go ahead and try and just get something going forward.
Again. Yeah, I agree. I think Cincinnati, it's almost like the mandate from the Cincinnati coaching staff, which the players are responding well to, was like, go win it in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Like, they've extended their lead with that really nice finish from Aronios, but they've also just been like foot on the pedal. I think, as good as RPFC are likely to be in the second half, it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't like kicked in for them yet because Cincinnati have just been so strong out of the gates.
Yeah, and one thing I've always said, especially earlier or yesterday when I was on the broadcast with Ian, I had always just spoken very, very intensely of the fact that just like that, what I was gonna touch on is the game can change at any moment, especially in arena soccer. It is phenomenal how fast the game can change and how quickly it can go in one team's favor. I mean, especially here in the last semifinal that Detroit City FC played, we started the second half and we scored in a matter of 6 seconds.
That was nuts.
And you can think of how quickly a team can score, and now you cut a two-goal lead where in 11v11, 2-goal is the most dangerous lead to hold, but also you're kind of comfortable.
Yeah, you're safe, relatively safe for a little while anyway.
In a 2-goal lead, but in arena soccer, 2 goals is absolutely nothing. So now that RPFC was just able to cut it down to 1, I mean, that is fantastic, and it's truly anybody's game here with 8 minutes left in the third quarter and a full fourth quarter left.
Yeah, and I think the momentum factor is similarly significant in the arena game. I mean, it's important in all sports, obviously, but in indoor, I feel like you get a goal, all of a sudden you can get 2 like within the same shift, and then you're rolling. It's like college basketball when teams go on runs. You can get on a run and like totally close the gap. I remember, good case in point, when you guys, when Detroit City FC played Louisville this year at home, ended up winning the game, but took like a 5 or 6 goal lead, if I remember correctly, and Louisville bridged the gap. Like they did make it close at the end, and it was just like even 6 goals wasn't enough to be totally safe, especially when you have high-quality teams. Do we have a card here, McKenna?
I think he raised his hand, but I don't think he pulled a card out of his pocket.
Looks like we're still 5 on 5.
So I think it was just a normal whistle foul, but yeah, I completely agree that it is completely anybody's game. And like you said, I think that it's also a good point to point out that once you score, and like RPFC just saw, they scored, and now it's a 1-goal differential. They now have the momentum, and with how fast-paced arena soccer is, having that momentum and the up mentality can bring a team to a completely different level.
Totally. And I think I used the expression yesterday with Ian. It's almost like in arena soccer, maybe this is true of all sports, but I almost feel like there's like sorry to get nerdy, I remember this from science class in school, like a law of conservation of momentum. If one team has it, the other team loses it. If one team's playing with a little bit of like confidence and swagger, it's almost like automatic that the other team's a little bit down in that moment. And so you get that like compounding effect where when one team's hot, the other team's on their heels, and you can really get a big swing as a result.
Absolutely, and I think we have is it a media timeout or a coach timeout?
Can we use this opportunity, McKenna? I was just noticing right before this break, there was a 4-person change from RPFC, which to me has been a rarity this weekend. I've seen for the most part teams are only changing 1 or 2 players at a time. I learned from you and DCFC head coach Danny Evans last night, there's a 3-foot rule. Can you explain that for the crowd? I referred to it earlier in the first semifinal, but I didn't dare try and explain it because I wasn't sure of what was going on there.
Absolutely. So when you are subbing, usually how subbing works with arena soccer is you're usually paired on a line. So whether there's two of you or 3 of you, it's kind of like hockey. You sub on the fly. However, when you are subbing, whoever is coming off the field has to be within 2 to 3 feet of the bench before the new person can hop on the field, which I thought was extremely interesting. I mean, I'm sure it's been a rule all year, never truly enforced, but here at Nationals they've kind of been cracking down on the nitty-gritty of the rules a little bit.
For sure.
So they've really been enhancing the 2 to 3 feet of the goal. I think it's just to ensure, the person's coming on at the correct time. There's no too many women on the field, if you will.
Yep.
But yeah, they have been pretty strict about you have to be within 2 to 3 feet of the bench before the new player can hop onto the pitch.
Thanks. Yeah, that's really interesting to me because I think in arena soccer, having played a little bit of it and seen some high level from the women this year and watching some of the MASL men's professional league as well, it's fascinating to see what a big part of the game substitutions are. Like, just that's a huge facet of the sport. Can you? It's like like an American hockey. Not American hockey, like hockey. It's not entirely an American sport,
It's
obviously.
definitely not an
That's
American
my bad.
sport.
That was a misspeak
I
from
think
me.
Canada has that
Canada's probably got that one claimed. But the way substitutions in hockey happen, they're very fluid. Guys are hopping over, and ladies are hopping over the boards, and it's a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's a little easier to do, whereas here there's just 2 doors, and with the 3-foot rule, you're limiting it to 1 or 2 players at a time, but you're not seeing those wholesale changes where teams are getting a bunch of fresh legs or they're getting a whole new unit out to try and create a little bit of like a tactical advantage. And so it's been a big part of the game. And with that rule being enforced so closely, the penalty is a 2-minute penalty, right?
Yeah,
If you break it.
It is considered a blue. So first you get a warning, you get a bench warning, and then after your bench warning, you do get a blue card, which is someone has to serve the 2-minute penalty inside the penalty box, and then your team the other team gets a power play. So
Which is huge.
Yeah, it's definitely huge, especially within this game. But it's super interesting to see how teams are handling their subbing.
Yeah.
Some are doing it on the fly. I mean, I know us here at DCFC, we sub every a minute and a half, whatever the girls think that they can fully maximize their amount of energy out on the field, and then they go ahead and sub. But some are doing full line changes. They stay on for 5-6 minutes, which, I mean, whatever works for each team, I'm sure is great, but there's different tactics to each. But you do have to be careful of the 2 to 3 foot rule, just because it is a blue card if you do fall into violation of it, and that can definitely determine whatever happens next in the game.
Yeah,
that's a huge foul, and there we go.
Yeah, great point, McKenna. I mean, all fouls are noteworthy, but that one's going to have implications because coming out of this, Cincinnati will be a player down, and they're defending a narrow lead right now. So this is a great opportunity for RPFC Dallas to capitalize, keep the ball, create some pressure, create some chances. Man, I got to say, watching that Cincinnati power play in the first period, I was really impressed. They created about 15 chances in that 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And RPFC are going to look to do the same thing.
Absolutely. And I mean, seeing Cincinnati play even from the first day of the quarterfinals, I mean, they were just connecting passes left and right. They were a very solid team, but then RPFC comes out, and they also as well came out and showed that they are a team that is capable of doing some damage and connecting some passes. So far, this has been a fantastic game.
What do we got here, McKenna? Goalie had it for more than 4 seconds?
I would assume so.
I learned that rule today when the Iowa goalie was a little too slow to bring it into the offensive half, and I was like, what was that? Me and Chris Hemler were kind of scratching our heads, and then we were informed at the break by the referees that whether the goalie has it in her hands or has received it back at her feet, she's only got 4 seconds to release it in her own half. Yeah,
so anytime the goalie receives the ball, whether, like you said, is in her hands or on her feet, within her own half, she only has 4 seconds to play it. So, if you're a team like Iowa that loves to push her goalie up, you do have to make sure that your goalie crosses that halfway line within the 4 seconds, so you don't really get to be lackadaisical when it comes to dribbling. And I think Cincy has a chance to probably chip the goalie here, but
they're in a good spot, even though they're shorthanded. That's number 4 today is that? Well, hold on a second. I think we had a little bit of a number change, but I know that yesterday Laura Rose was wearing number 4. We were told she was wearing number 9, but I wonder if she's back to number 4. And she's a handful, and you saw it there in a shorthanded situation. She's running the field, almost chipping the goalkeeper, and and there she's taken to the turf because she is just in all-out mode right now.
Did we hear are currently being stalked by a Detroit.
Oh my gosh! You know what we need to do right now? Hold on. You know what we need to do right now?
What do we need to do right now?
I, David DeWahey, am going to substitute myself out of the broadcast.
Okay.
Bring in special guest, Detroit City FC player, soccer enthusiast.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and we're going to bring on
Hannah Crum.
Well, just for a quick.
Just a quick second.
Do you want to just say hello, Hannah Crum?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe just let her say hello.
Just
That's
say
probably
hello.
the safest bet.
Hannah, any words for our crowd? Oh, we got a goal.
We do
got
have
a goal. We got a 3-3,
And we have a
McKenna.
tied game.
We got a tie game. And speaking of which, we were all kind of
Wow.
distracted over here because the DCFC men who are playing in the Indy 11 right
They
now
are.
have equalized themselves.
They have done it, and now we have ourselves an extremely tight semifinal game between the Cincinnati Sirens and RPFC. This has been fantastic so far, and now we have a 3-3 tie with 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Wow, that's a lot of threes to go.
So many threes,
in
Mac.
the third quarter. 3-3,
yep.
3-3 in the third quarter. This has
Wow.
been fantastic.
For those of you tuning in from home, I know you can't see the scoreboard here at the Fieldhouse, but in the third quarter, there was 3 minutes and 33 seconds left when that score became 3-3. So it was a tale of threes, and from what I understand, 3 is like a magical number in like literature and stuff like that. So we were just witness to a pretty special moment here, and let's hope it's a sign of things to come. As this game, we might have a.
Great save. Oh,
That's
can
gonna
she
be,
finish it?
Oh my gosh! Oh
off
my
the
gosh!
bar.
Off the crossbar. What an attempt there, and
Yeah,
great scoring
Cincinnati's-
chance for Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's definitely looking to go ahead and try and get one up here and respond to that goal. Was that on a power play still, or were they full
I
strength?
think they had gotten to full strength, but you make a really good point. RPFC scoring that equalizer,
Yeah.
I believe, with the one-player advantage.
And with the ball off the net, we'll go ahead and let Hannah Crum here say something.
Hannah, you want to
Or would you like to go ahead and would you like to commentate here with me?
you want to hop in?
Okay.
I proudly hand over to Hannah Crum. She's going to join McKenna Mascaro, her coach, on the broadcast. Let me just make a quick mic switch here. Do we have another goal? We have another goal. Hannah,
RPFC with
step in
another
and describe
goal.
that one.
Wow, with Hannah Crum here, we have so far been so successful here for RPFC. This has been fantastic here since Hannah Crum has been sitting here.
Yeah, this is a back and forth game. I have been watching and I am just like, wow.
So far, it has been fantastic. So I am McKenna Mascaro here. We were just with David Dwayhe, and now we have Hannah Crum. She here, what is our power forward here for Detroit City FC. So now we are currently watching the Cincinnati Sirens and RPFC play here. And so far, Hannah Crum, what do you see based off of that goal? How do we think that Cincinnati Sirens is going to go ahead here and respond, especially with that goalie coming up and moving forward?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of back and forth as I'm watching, and I see one shot's fired and the other shot's fired the other way. So I know they're going to come back and try and give them something else to work with, but they keep going back and forth, and I don't know. I can't predict anything. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's exciting.
It's definitely been an extremely back and forth game. I mean, we saw here RPFC strike first, so it was super exciting here. I mean, going into the third quarter, they were down, and now you saw them have the ability to go ahead and equalize. And now they go ahead and they take the lead. So I mean, it's been super exciting here. Fouls left and right probably, but it's been fantastic so far.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out, are the refs letting them play a little bit here? It's a physical battle for sure. I've not heard much whistles, but
I mean, it's been, like you said, a very back and forth game. RPFC and Cincinnati Sirens here have been taking it to each other. We do have about 1 minute left here in the third quarter. We have Cincinnati Sirens moving ahead, and RPFC just goes ahead and takes that ball right away from them. It's interesting to see how Cincinnati Sirens is going to go ahead and react and how they go ahead and move forward with conceding that goal. But I mean, like we said in arena soccer, you know best. The time and the score can change at any moment, right? If you are and you have the ability to go ahead and go forward, anything can happen in a matter of seconds. So what's your kind of take on that? Like if you're Cincy, are you worried going down one, or are you ready to just go ahead and take a deep breath and move forward?
yeah, so it's a very fast-paced game. I mean, you win the ball, you look to go. But then again, you have to take into mind that there's still a lot of time left to play. We're down by 1, and we go from there when we win the ball.
Yeah.
Like, there's time. We can hold on to it. It just kind of depends on how they decide to play. as a team. Do they want to go, or do they want to hold on to it and build something and try and get a goal from there? But like I said, it's such a fast-paced game that really anything can happen, and if something happens in the moment where it's something you want to take advantage of, then they're going to go ahead and probably do that.
Absolutely, and I mean, here to end the third quarter, I'm McKenna Mascaro. This is Hannah Crum,
Yes.
one of the Detroit City FC players. We're going to go ahead and go into a small break here in between quarters, and we'll catch you back at the start of the fourth.
Yes, David's going to come back. Thank you.
Sounds good. We'll see you guys soon.
And we are back for quarter number 4 and semifinal number 2. David DeWay here with Chris Hemler. We're going to bring it home for you here tonight. What a period that was, Chris. So much back and forth, and when it was all added up, RPFC have reclaimed the lead and really swung the momentum in their favor in short order.
And we've been talking about this all day, is how quickly these matches can change.
Yep.
And RP is on the front foot right
now.
Wow. Amazing.
What a save from Spiller there.
From Spiller.
Incredible reaction save with a lot of power behind that one.
Yeah.
She put her body on the line, and big save for her team during a phase of the game where RPFC now, we were talking earlier about, I was talking to McKenna Mascaro about the fact that Cincinnati came out of the half very determined and very dominant. They got some goals for it, but it was like they were just going to try and win the game in 5 minutes. And RPFC, to their credit, held on. They kept it close, and they kind of found that moment to reclaim their hold on the game, and they scored some goals during that phase. And now it's their lead. But what a quarter that was, and what a fourth quarter ahead. I think this thing's – referee Conlon Campbell took that one. And oh my gosh, what a strike. What a strike. Poor Conlon Campbell.
Yeah.
Referee really took the brunt of that clearance.
And gets a bit of an assist.
And yeah, poor guy. Conlon, if you're watching this later, you're a tough cookie. He did not stop watching the game. He stayed true to his duties.
I had flashbacks. Do you remember
oh my gosh,
the Lou City
the
match?
worst day ever.
I was an adult ball boy, a ball person, and for the men's game in the Lamar Hunt Open Cup, and Devin Amumensa made a spectacular clearance right off of my head.
Oh, and these balls are not
No.
these soccer balls are inflated. And I still remember that night. And you like Conlon, took that one on the chin, on the skull, but you did not. It did not keep you from fulfilling your ultimate duty as a ball person. And
I mean, there's a ball boys code. Most people don't know this.
You adhered.
The show must go on.
You adhered. The show must go on, and in similar fashion, Conlon Campbell, recognizing that he needed to remain vigilant of the game and preside over a well-finished goal. Oh, my gosh. That's a foul. Yeah, it was a really brave move from both number 8 on RPFC. That's Jacqueline Cortez, but also defensively from Cincinnati's number 4.
And I know that Cortez had the foul called on her, but, I mean, that's what you want her to do in that situation.
Oh, yeah, you got to go for it. And
Yeah.
I think you take the chance for sure. If you give up a foul in the offensive box, it's not the worst thing in the world, and the alternative is that you score a goal for your team. So you got to take the risk.
There she is on the ball again. Right back into it.
She's been very active tonight.
Yes,
One of the key pieces for the RPFC comeback. Well done by Spiller there to keep that ball in, but also clear the danger. Ooh. RPFC seem to have adapted to a more shoot first, ask questions later approach, and it's been very beneficial.
Yeah, and they're drifting outside to get that angle on the goal.
Yeah. I think in the last couple minutes alone, we've seen multiple well-struck shots, and they're not all hitting the target, but they are all causing problems for Cincinnati in terms of getting out of their own end. They're being peppered a little bit, and here's Rose on the ball, who is going to have to pick up where she left off yesterday and help her team if they want to get back into this game. Cincinnati are a seasoned bunch when they played in the PASL, which is a league that is very comparable in many ways to the MASLW. They were, I believe, 4 or 5-time national champs. And so, I'm sure they've been in this situation before, and they're going to rely on their experience as a club to try and keep this game close.
If they keep having vision like that from the back to see those diagonal passes,
yeah,
they're going to be.
And that's what we saw so much from them yesterday.
Yeah.
The ability to play those really thoughtful cross-field passes. There we see Aronio's finding her teammate in a good space, led to a shot a little bit over the net there, but better from Cincinnati. They got to fight their way back into this game little by little. Well done from Keown there. Man, I'm so impressed with Keown because as influential as she is on the ball, pulling the strings for Cincinnati, she's also defensively super disciplined. She does not shirk her defensive duties at all. You saw her there getting up, winning a tough header in traffic. She's just a complete player, and not a surprise that Cincinnati's had such a great season with players like her in the mix. It's been an amazing set of semifinals today, Chris.
It really has.
We were treated to a really good competitive game early on between Detroit City FC and Iowa Demon Hawks, which Iowa ended out on top of. And here we are with a similar margin in the scoreline. RPFC Dallas having come back in the second half to lead Cincinnati Sirens. And I think we got to give props right now to Brad Pomdar, who spoke earlier. I don't know that he said it on the broadcast. I think he just said it to me when he handed over the mic. He said RPFC is a second-half team. It's what they're known for. It's their calling card. It's what they pride themselves in, and we're seeing here evidence that is indeed the case. They've really taken it up a notch here in the second half, in particular the second half of the third quarter, and they've picked up where they left off in the fourth. Yeah,
and with that being said, though, a 2-goal lead is, especially with 11 minutes left, is certainly not a done deal, and
no.
So there's a lot of game left to play as well.
Yep, Cincinnati could prove to be the second-half team still. Nice little combination there between the RPFC players. Brave from Spiller. Good bravery there from Gabby Bjorth, number 3 for RPFC. Oop, my bad. Mitzi Guerreca. Mitzi put her body on the line there, but also a really nice little piece of combination play from her. Outside of her foot, run off, got the ball back in a central position. She's a player to watch. She's very active.
I was just going to say, you might not be able to see it on the broadcast, but the way that she moves off the ball is
It's
remarkable.
awesome. Yeah, it's a lesson
What
for
a save.
any young players
Taylor
tuning
Spiller.
in. That was a great one-handed paw there
Yeah.
from Spiller. Any players tuning in, keep an eye on number 3 for RPFC, Mitzi Guerreca. She has been off the ball extremely active. Constantly showing into spaces, getting on it, getting it off her foot. Free kick in a dangerous area here for RPFC. Cincinnati setting their wall with 3.
Over the wall, and that almost
Conchita, I was going to say, number 19 there for RPFC. That's Ari Arboleda. She had to receive her own shot off the boards, and so it was the equivalent of touching it twice, I suppose. Well, here comes Cincinnati 3v1. It's going to be a chance one way or the other. It's a goal.
They finish it.
That's Keown. That's the greatness of Keown there. That left, she had to reach back for that with her left foot, but really nice one-touch pass to set up. See if I can catch that number, 23, 33. Couldn't quite make it out. I want to say number 23, Katie Byers, but I only saw a flash of the jersey as she was getting off the field. McKenna Mascaro and I were talking a little bit about the substitution element of the game.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that on goals, for the most part, teams are doing wholesale changes, getting 5 sets of fresh legs out while the change is easy to make.
Yeah.
Conversely, when it's in the run of play, teams are typically only changing 1 or 2 at a time because of that 3-foot rule that means they have to be so disciplined with the timing of the substitution.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit with I mean, we said it in a bit of a joking manner with Kayla Addison playing 6 seconds to start the second half, gets a goal and then subs off.
Right.
But you almost need to take those opportunities.
Yep. And we see here Wisely, number 16 for Cincinnati.
Yep.
Toria Abbott, like kind of dumping inside. It's very much like a hockey construct, right? Like you dump the ball into the offensive end.
Just without the threat of icing, too.
Yeah, right. And you never want to sub. I mean, the rule number 1, I think, of arena soccer is you never want to sub when the other team's in possession and you're bunkered in. You just don't want to give them the numerical advantage.
Yep.
So teams really having to wait, and sometimes you're on tired legs.
Yep.
And every fiber of your being is screaming like, "Get me off! I want to break." But sometimes you just gotta tough it out, and you gotta wait till the ball gets to the other end of the field or goes out of bounds. And it's very much the case that sometimes you get stuck. Oh wow, that's good footwork there. Really nice feet there from number 8 on RPFC Dallas, Jacqueline Cortez, just kind of slaloming through traffic, keeping it close. So many talented individual dribblers on this RPFC team.
And here we see Cincinnati trying to take advantage of that full-scale change. And
what a tackle. Holy cow. Oh, my gosh. That might be a blue card. That was quite a tackle. It was a really impressive tackle from the Cincinnati player in the first place. She just, timed it beautifully. I mean, got all ball, but really, laid out. And then kind of got laid out. That was number 26 for Cincinnati, Nora Ludwig. She kind of took one in return for her good work, but was rewarded in the sense that her team is now a player up.
Yep.
I think I lost track of the score, Chris. Is Cincinnati up 5-4 right now?
No.
Should it be 4-4?
No.
What's the score?
5-4.
Who's up?
RPFC.
Oh, they
went up 5-3.
That's right. Thank you. It says Detroit on the scoreboard, which I associated with the home bench, and that's why I thought Cincinnati, but that makes perfect sense now. So RPFC had a 5-3 lead. The recent goal by Cincinnati cuts the deficit to 1. We've got 7 minutes and 58 seconds left. RPFC holding on to the narrow lead. And now updated.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've updated myself.
I mean, I think too. Like if we look back and we've talked about how arena soccer is kind of like this game of segments, and you look back and you might think if you're an RPFC supporter that you might be feeling a little bit nervous, but remember that run that they had in the third quarter and really to start the fourth as well. And so they are capable of going on those runs again.
Yep.
And I think that the coaching staff of both teams is really going to try to set that up. I think Cincinnati's probably trying to say, hey, listen, we've got the momentum right now. Let's capture it. And I think RPFC is probably saying, something to the effect of, hey, we've got the lead
With the
now.
lead.
Yeah.
It's so easy. It's such a good point you make, Chris, because I feel like in all sports, but soccer in particular, there's so many times where it's almost like the team forgot they were winning.
Yeah.
Like a couple things go against them, but they still have the lead, but then they kind of start to play like they've lost it somehow.
Yeah.
And if you're RPFC, that's a really important point. You have the 1-goal lead right now, and so nothing's a disaster.
Right. You don't need to do anything drastic right now.
Yeah, you don't have to change anything. You just have to kind of hold your ground. And we're seeing right now they're on the short-handed situation, so obviously they have to really bunker in defensively, but they haven't been scored on yet, and there's no reason to freak out or disasterize, because if they get through this short-handed situation, if they get through Cincinnati's power play, that's a momentum shift in itself.
Absolutely.
You have some success there to build on, even though right now you're up against it a little bit.
Well, and everything that the defense has shown so far for RPFC has been they're very organized. They're strong. They're solid. You can see there they react very well when the ball gets into the box, and
they have a very good goalkeeper that they're comfortable with and that they rely on, and her distribution is good. Her ability to knock it up the field and buy them about 10 seconds of relief here was key. Aroñez on the ball. She's a player to watch in these situations.
And I think too, if we think about a penalty kill, and we talked about this a little bit, I think between the matches of how interesting it is to see on a penalty kill the goalie just get rid of it and hoof it or chuck it down the field, but you don't want to give up a 4-second violation while you're already shorthanded.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is invite a free kick in a dangerous area.
So you get it downfield as far as you can. Oh. What a save!
Oh my gosh!
A double save.
Really well worked by Cincinnati there to get the chance for Rose.
Yeah.
But an amazing shift across the box from the goalkeeper, Courtney Burnett, and a great, courageous save from her when the game was on the line. Cincinnati have to feel encouraged by that, though. That was a nice piece of skill from Keown. She's fun to watch, Chris.
She is so much fun to watch.
She really plays like a pro. I mean, these women are all professional indoor players, but she stands out to me as somebody that's just got like that extra little bit of know-how and comfort on the ball, and she's just a difference maker.
Well, and you spoke about it too, is that it doesn't matter where on the field she is. She's gonna give that same effort.
Yep. Let's see if we see a shot here. I think we're back.
I would have hit it, and I would have sailed it 10 feet over the goal. So,
know thyself.
Yep.
What a tackle from Aroñez. Aroñez really starting to. You can tell she's a gamer because she's lifting her level when the chips are on the table and her team needs her most.
And a really smart play too to just to turn it back.
Yep.
There's that temptation to just always move forward.
Ooh. That one hurt. Was that Corey DePriester there taking pictures for Detroit City FC? I think took a shot to the head there. No one's safe out there.
No.
So many players today have blocked shots with their head. Corey's back up on his
He's
saddle.
back. It seems like the camera's okay too.
Yeah. Glad to see that.
That's probably what he cares about the most at this point.
Yeah, I know. He would tell you the same. That's really well done there by Cincinnati. Nice little combination play to get out of a high-pressure situation. I've been so impressed with both of these teams. And they have contrasting styles in some respects. I think RPFC a little bit more reliant on one-on-one dribbling and quick combination, whereas Cincinnati slightly longer. What a ball. And what a finish. Yeah. Number 19, Ari Arboleda with a really composed inside of the foot across the ball. Across the frame of the goal to the far post finish.
Well, and you were just saying it too, that's the style that they want to play.
Yeah.
They want to hit you back. They want to hit quickly. A little bit of an issue getting the goal.
Yep.
The ball out of the goal here.
Get this ball here. It's a little tricky. You kind of gotta. Resident indoor soccer expert Mario Cicluna's on the job.
Yeah, I think they might just leave it back there for right now because there's another ball on the pitch.
Maybe just leave it.
Cincinnati right back down there. They know well enough to know that it's not time to give up. Good use of the boards there.
Yep. Well, this sets up for a really interesting last 5 minutes, Chris. I think RPFC, here they are kind of on the break. What a tackle from Aroñez. God, her range of defending is incredible. Ooh, wow. Look at number 2 for RPFC there, Bria Williams. Oh my gosh. Oh, my gosh. And you see the reaction from Aroñez there. She's leaving it all there on the line and feels like got let down by that one, but That's a tough break. This RPFC team, man, the words of Brad Namdar are resonating with me right now. He really called this. RPFC is a second half team. They finish games strong. They just have,
and I think
they have
that
so much depth.
speaks a bit to another thing that Brad said on the broadcast, which is that their strength is in their depth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could easily highlight a player or two, but really the strength is in the depth of the roster.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that no matter
So
what.
another break here.
Let's see what they do with this
Doesn't
one.
necessarily have a pass, so she'll play it into the corner there.
I also feel like in these last couple minutes, you almost see a little bit of that swagger kicking in for RPFC. They just seem to be feeling it right now.
Yeah.
On the ball, they've just had a little bit more, I don't know how to phrase it, like just a little bit more confidence on the dribble. They seem to be feeling it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you want to, that's the position you want to be in, where you're feeling it at the end and you have a lead. It's pretty ideal. And if you're thinking to yourself like, well, what's the alternative? I think a lot of times when you have a lead at the end, you're nervous. You start playing not to lose.
Yeah.
You start like almost inadvertently inviting the other team back in. And what RPFC have done so well in these last couple minutes is they've kept their foot on the gas. And
Yeah.
It's made it really hard for Cincinnati to find their way back in because they're defending.
Smart ball into the corner there.
But I think it bears mentioning, we said this in the last semifinal, 3 goals with 3.5 minutes. It's not safe yet.
Nope.
For RPFC, they gotta dig in defensively here, and when they get the ball, they gotta keep it.
Same thing that we said last match too is that it's really important right now for Cincinnati to finish their chances.
Yeah, absolutely.
They might only get 3 more chances remaining in the game.
Yep.
They've got to finish them in order to give themselves a fighting chance.
Oh, that's a great layoff.
It is a great layoff. And,
That's some good indoor there.
and a wonderful defensive effort to get in front of that ball too.
Yep. Yeah, we've had a really well-matched games in this tournament so far, and I think this game has been especially close. Even though the scoreline might not indicate it right now, it's kind of gotten a little bit away from Cincinnati at the end here. It's not over.
No,
to be
and
clear,
they've got the ball in a
it
really
is-
good spot right here.
Yeah, but I just want to say how well balanced this game has been, and there have been moments where each team has really asserted themselves in ways that are impressive.
Oh.
Ooh, Oronia's unlucky not
And
to.
I think that's one of
not
those
to-
chances too that you know you might look back on at the end of the game and say, man, another couple inches and I would have got a foot on the ball and put
Yeah.
that thing in, and then it's a 2-goal game with
Yeah.
3 minutes left to play.
It's a game of inches, Chris.
It really is. I mean, life is.
Life is. It's well said. 2.5 minutes left here. Cincinnati comfortable in possession, but they also have the pressure of needing to get a goal relatively quickly if they're going to make this thing interesting. It's the same situation that Detroit City FC found themselves in. 3 goals down with a couple minutes. Detroit City FC were able to cut it to 2, which definitely changed the feel of the game. But credit to Iowa. Like we've said about RPFC here, Iowa seemed to remain really calm and comfortable in the face of that phase of the game.
Yep.
And it was it made it an even steeper hill to climb.
Looks like the bench for RPFC just got a yellow card.
Interesting.
I don't think they liked the determination that it went off of one of their players. So 2 minutes and 22 seconds left. It's a 3-goal game. Cincinnati does have it in a really nice spot with a really good chance to put it within 2 with 2 minutes and 22 seconds left. And
Chris, I just realized something.
what's that?
I've made a horrible mistake, and you weren't on the broadcast to witness it. When I was talking to McKenna earlier, I gave a shout-out to Pia Namdar for being the only female owner of a team in the playoffs or really across the league, and that was a huge oversight. And I'd like to take this opportunity
Please do.
to correct that and say one of multiple female owners, because in saying that I completely neglected to mention that Kayla Dickerman and Erin Yenny, who represent Louisville Triumph, are also female owners, GMs. They do it all for that club. And they are incredible women in sports who also deserved a shout out, and I overlooked that. Kayla, if you're tuned in, Erin, if you're tuned in, I am so sorry about that oversight. You guys are amazing. Your organization is amazing, as our Lone Star under the direction of Pia Namdar. So many amazing women in these administrative leadership roles. in the MASLW, and they're all to be celebrated, and their teams are to be celebrated, and that's my bad.
It's all right. There's some real amazing defense going on. We also do see what appears to be a goalkeeper change for Cincinnati as they're looking for almost an extra field player.
They're gonna send her forward. They're going with the 6th attacker here. I also, while we're on the topic of Louisville, I just want to say what an amazing contest that was last night between Louisville Triumph and Detroit City FC. Obviously, I'm partial to Detroit City FC, but truth is I'm partial to both of those teams. As I've gotten to know Kayla and Aaron and a number of other members of the club, the coaching staff who I talked to a little bit last night, some of the players, they're just like top to bottom an amazing organization, and it was such an honor for Detroit City FC's team to play them multiple times this season, to have that Le Jeu de Fleur series where they raise money for their respective charities. Just so honored and privileged to have fellow organizations with us, partners in all this. And one more shout out to Kayla and Aaron and Louisville Triumph for an amazing game last night and an amazing series throughout this 2026 season. And again, I'm so sorry, you guys.
I think I'm happy that you kind of, you owned up to it. I think a lot of people would just kind of just ignore it and hope that nobody noticed, so I appreciate that. I also appreciate you just letting the people at home know that I wasn't not on the broadcast at the time.
To be clear,
distance
Chris,
me from it altogether.
A huge supporter of women in sports, had nothing to do with my oversight.
I would never.
He would never. I would, apparently, and I feel horrible for that. Oh, that might go in the net,
That might
Chris.
get there.
That might go in the net.
There, and it did.
That's really good.
It did.
There.
And that's listen. You can't fault Cincinnati.
Got to go for it.
For doing it. You have to.
I would much rather lose 8-4
Yep.
and have a chance at making it 7-5.
Yep.
Right? You got to throw caution to the wind at this point in the game. They are going to bring Spiller back on to finish the game out. Deservedly so, because she's been a fixture of their defense all weekend.
And I think in the first quarter too, David, we talked a little bit about how scores can be misleading.
Yes,
and how
yes.
something within 5 in arena soccer could be a close match. And this is a perfect example of this. If it ends with a 4-goal differential, it might seem to someone who doesn't really understand or didn't watch the match that it was a blowout. But that's not the case at all.
Oh my gosh. Almost became 8-5 there. As you said that, it almost became a 3-goal margin.
Well, and I think too, if we look at this, this has kind of been pretty emblematic of what RPFC has been able to do on the line.
Yep.
And some of that is obviously luck of the bounce, but a lot of that is just being in the right position, pouncing on rebounds, and just making sure that you're doing everything you can to keep that ball out of the net.
Yep. Well said. They've been on the defensive side of a number of scrambles and been very brave in those moments. Their goalie's being commended by their coaching staff right now for
rightfully so.
Her role in that. She's put her body on the line multiple times tonight.
And we've seen a lot of excellent goalkeeping, over the last couple days.
I'm going to hand it over to McKenna Mascaro real quick, Chris.
Okay, sounds good.
Wow, thanks, David. I mean, so far we have gotten ourselves a game, but nonetheless a game that has been pulled away. But I did just want to kind of hop on and kind of give a shout out to the Louisville, as is I'm pretty sure supposed to be pronounced Louisville, but here in the Metro Detroit area they say Louisville. I don't think that's necessarily how you're supposed to say it, but definitely wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to the Louisville Triumph. I mean, like David said, it's so good to see a lot of the women taking charge of these teams, making sure, Kayla, Aaron, bummer to not see Aaron here in the quarterfinals when we faced them, but fantastic team, super hard to play against. I mean, a friendly foe we've seen in regular league play. Wow, what a sneaky, that's a goal.
That's going in.
That is a sneaky goal here, slow roller. I mean, fantastic look by the Cincinnati Sirens, but wow, that was to go ahead and go in. I think RPFC is asking for a timeout with 3 seconds to go. 3.7 seconds, a timeout from RPFC, but interesting nonetheless. However, sorry, Chris, I don't mean to
you're
just
good.
keep talking, but I just really would love to point out, the ownership and the accountability that comes from the women's coaches, the women's player coaches. We have a lot of those who have a men head coach. However, we do have the owners sometimes stepping in. We have Andrea from Youngstown. They kind of step in and do a little bit of the both roles of playing and coaching, which is super phenomenal. Like, I do think that you should have the ability to be a player coach and to still live out your professional dream and go ahead and coach a team. But fantastic ownership from Louisville Triumph. They've been nothing but shy of fantastic professionalism. They have just been awesome through and through. And obviously the score kind of reflected on a Detroit City FC win, but a thriller nonetheless. Wow. I mean, if you guys could have seen I don't know if you watched it, Chris.
I did.
Oh, man. I mean, my whoop stress level was it is 0 to 3, and it was at a 2.9 at all aspects of the game. So, I mean, huge shout out to them. But I don't think I'm going to talk much longer on the mic. I'll give it back to David Doihe here once this quarter ends. But we have a thriller here, and I can't wait to just see how this game ends. I mean, there's so much going on, but either way, all 8 teams that have played so far this weekend have been fantastic, and I just wanted to make sure that we got it right with the female owners. So
absolutely. Well, we appreciate you jumping on and everything that you've done for the team and for this tournament. And that's it for us. This one ends 8-5. So we'll have a matchup of the Iowa Demon Hawks and RPFC tomorrow in the final. So hopefully you all tune in or come on down to the Detroit City Fieldhouse. We'll see you then.